Yeah, people wanting to vote.
Unmanageable turnout of 65%.
That's the Lib Dem votes being chucked in the river. Goodbye to you. Go and watch a film, one of your husbands. Hello, Gordon. Piss off. Did you stay up for Lembit? It was. It's the most important thing that happened in the election.
Because?
It's quite funny.
I would expect a bit more than that. Ladies and gentlemen, the great thing about losing my seat is I can actually take a fee for this now instead of getting this kind of abuse for nothing.
It is indeed the overwhelmingly indecisive outcome of the election. In fact, we only know one result for sure. Don't we, Lembit?
Can we get on with this? I've actually got an appointment with the job centre in about half an hour.
They phoned earlier, they cancelled.
So, Paul, Ian, the old certainties are gone. It's time for unlikely alliances. Paul, could you ever find it in your heart to put your bitter rivalry to one side and form a coalition with Ian?
Yeah, all right.
Go on, then.
I've got a feeling you're going to win this week.
Can I say I've always wanted this?
Yeah.
I've argued for it for years. And any suggestion that I'm doing it as a matter of convenience is not true. I agree with Nick. Paul.
Do you want to do a rabble-rousing speech on behalf of our coalition?
I think what we offer is not them, basically. People are sick of you coming on here, making fun of the contestants, you know. Just because I'm having a bit of a hard time at the moment, lend us the price of a cup of tea, I'll give it back to you. I've got me nothing, Governor, I've got me harmonica, I can play that for you if you want. And I have. No, I have.
Got to find some change.
I have.
Are we witnessing a mental breakdown?
You do the singing and I'll do the playing.
Students, they've woken up. They've been told that the teaching budget's been cut, they're going to have to pay 3 times as much and pay it back for the rest of their lives, and they're thinking, I'm not sure I approve of that.
A student was interviewed and said, and I quote, "There's no jobs out there, and now they're asking us to pay 9 grand a year, which if you do 3 years, that's like 21 grand.
Of course, the Lib Dems were staunchly saying, of course, they wouldn't go up, which is great that they got in power and put it up.
Yeah.
Well, they had no idea they were going to be in power when they...
Well, they could have
when they made these promises.
Nick Clegg keeps saying it's the right government for the right time, which I think is just a seedy way to sort of dignify opportunism. You know, he would have made a pact with the Klingons if it meant a sniff of power.
I don't know, I think the Klingon manifesto was pretty good.
I'm going to disagree here because the Klingons have shown in the past that they're hell-bent on world domination, so I'm glad the Liberal Democrats are in there with them.
And the Klingons always get the Lib Dems to make the policy announcements.
Absolutely.
They're going to blow up a whole planet. They say, oh, get the Lib Dem to announce it.
The Lib Dem party in this arrangement is the equivalent of the guy you see on Star Trek walking around the planet who you've never seen before, is the first one to get killed. That's the Liberal Democrats in this scenario.
But how does Nick Clegg look at himself in the mirror in the mornings?
Just looks at David Cameron and sees the same thing.
On Ian's team, a Swindon-based comedian who has been very open about suffering from a debilitating disorder, namely that he lives in Swindon. Please welcome John Richardson. And on Paul's team is one of the few politicians who knows what the future holds for him. A regular slot bantering with Jeff Stelling in Dictionary Corner. Please welcome Lembit Opic. Ian and John, take a look at this.
Queues.
Yeah, people wanting to vote.
Unmanageable turnout of 65%.
What do they think this is? South Africa? Get out of it! Now, that's the Lib Dem votes being chucked in the river. Off you go!
My votes, yeah, my votes, yeah.
That's someone explaining they haven't a clue. Goodbye to you. Go and watch a film, one of your husbands. Hello, Gordon. Well, the people have spoken, as Joe said, and they've said, not sure.
We don't know any of you.
Oh, what about you? I don't know. No, it's very exciting. We've got a new Prime Minister, Gordon Brown. You've never voted for him before, and you didn't vote for him this time. So, democracy working pretty damn well, I think.
Does this mean this is going to carry on?
What, this show? God.
The whole I thought at least it would be finished this morning, but it's not, is it? It's going to be months of...
Months of it?
In some cases, it has.
It's good that you're not dwelling on it, though.
I'm completely over it.
After 19 years, is it? Presumably it's...
13 years and 4 days, roughly. I mean, I'm not counting, but...
Somebody was.
If I was Brown, and today I would just resign and then run naked through the streets of London going, you're the bigot, you're the bigot. Can't touch me now, bigots. But they're all still... They're trying to make friends, aren't they? They're trying to do a, hey... They're like passing notes on the news this morning going, tell Nick I think he's fit, Gordon.
It is indeed the overwhelmingly indecisive outcome of the election. In fact, we only know one result for sure. Don't we, Lembit?
Can we get on with this? I've actually got an appointment with the job centre in about half an hour.
They phoned earlier, they cancelled.
What happened to Esther Ranson?
She lost.
She lost her
Her
deposit?
deposit. She lost her deposit, she did.
Good.
Yes, indeed, yeah. Well, someone has to say it, that's life. I know, no cigar for that one, sorry.
Right, now, everyone was hoping Ed Balls would provide a Portillo moment. Michael Portillo said this week, my name is now synonymous with eating a bucket load of in public.
We will do these game shows.
Haven't been on that one yet.
No. The offer will be coming, don't worry. Or maybe not. I
do hope so.
Yeah, so do I.
That was the most depressing use of the word yet I've ever heard in my entire life.
Did you stay up for Lembit? It was. It's the most important thing that happened in the election.
Because?
It's quite funny.
I was expecting a bit more than that, wasn't you?
Ladies and gentlemen, the great thing about losing my seat is I can actually take a fee for this now instead of getting this kind of abuse for nothing.
Do you want to do a rabble-rousing speech on behalf of our coalition?
I think what we offer is not them, basically. People are sick of you coming on here making fun of the contestants, you know. Just because I'm having a bit of a hard time at the moment, lend us the price of a cup of tea, I'll give it back to you next week. I don't mean nothing, Governor. I've got me harmonica and can play that for you if you want. And I have. No, I have.
Find some change.
I have.
Are we witnessing a mental breakdown?
You do the singing and I'll do the playing.
Look at the top pledge on the top. We will invade Iraq against the wishes of the people of Britain.
Yeah, but it was Miliband who stopped the invasion into Syria. That's something for him, isn't it? I haven't heard you say much about that.
No, because I'm more interested in the previous one, which
Well,
you
they
were
were wrong.
involved in.
And we made it clear that's so. We made a mistake. There's no doubt about that. But give Miliband the credit for stopping us doing the same thing with Syria.
OK,
because Cameron was about to get to do it with the Americans.
Yeah, no, I have no problem with that, and Obama
You just don't work about it or talk about it. Anyway, that's the difference between us.
Yeah.
Should we start again?
But you say
I don't think so.
that the manifesto will only just come out, so the candidate can't be expected to know what's in it. Is the manifesto meant to be a massive surprise to Labour candidates?
No, but when you get... Well, in our party, you have to get it through the National Executive, and we have a policy making for the manifesto. You don't know necessarily what's coming through. I think some great things have come through, particularly when we're dealing with the Leveson report and what are we going to do about making the press more accountable.
Yes,
That's quite important.
You're going to legislate, aren't you?
What we said about that, we will carry out what Leveson said. We wait to see the press...
Leveson said nothing about a royal charter. He didn't mention it.
I would have thought you, as a journalist, might find that's an important point.
No, as a journalist, it's an unimportant point.
God blimey, you blimey. In private eye, you're sued every day, for God's sake, for what you say about people.
No, we're not. And certainly not about you. I know you've got problems with the press and your private life, John.
I think the last time you raised it, you got the same move. Why don't you be more specific and say it? Usually straightforward in private eye. What's your complaint?
OK, you're very, very unhappy about the press's intrusion into your private life, because they revealed you were
never
having an affair
complained
with
about
Tracy
it at
Temple.
all.
And it was very embarrassing for you.
No, it wasn't.
God, it wasn't embarrassing.
No, I made a mistake. I owned up to it publicly, and I was waiting for this one to come from you.
You didn't own up to it publicly. You were revealed as doing it.
Hey,
I've got an idea.
I did it at the Labour conference. Didn't you watch that?
You two find a room, and whoever comes out alive is the winner.
I don't think there's any doubt about that.
Oh, it's a death stare. He gave me a death stare. It depends who's ordering the room service, I suppose, doesn't it, John?
This is like a terrible family Christmas.
Oh, yes.
Oh, this is such a lovely story. This is about the pensioner who shaved 10 miles off the marathon by taking a sneaky shortcut and ending up in the Guinness Book of Records.
Unfortunately, he got it quite wrong and he actually finished before he actually started.
He finished in 3 hours and 5 minutes, setting the fastest time ever recorded by anyone over 65.
Over a distance of 12 miles.
Why were suspicions first aroused that something fishy had gone on?
Because he beat the team from Kenya.
Yes, Ian and Clive?
I'm not sure that photo's real.
Is it the Bee Gees?
These are people who've been released this week. These are happy stories.
She's Aung San Suu Kyi, who's the Burmese opposition leader, who's been in prison for 15 years, and she's just been let out of house arrest.
House arrest, yeah.
After a non-violent protest, which seems to have worked.
Is it Paul and Rachel? They were pottering around in their boat. They were taken by Somali pirates, and they've been released. Somebody must have paid their ransom.
One of the reasons they're released is that the pirates were getting bored, because they've held them for ages, and it's not cost-efficient. And the intermediary was a Somalian taxi driver based in London.
So no wonder they kept waiting. They kept saying, yeah, I'll be with you in 20 minutes. It took 3 months. According to Max Clifford, the couple could make £1 million from TV interviews. Adding a successful book could double or treble that. With a movie, you could go up to 5 million, even 10 million. Then they really will be worth kidnapping.
Oh, it's Maria Miller. She's gone, going into a house, not hers.
Oh, she's changed her outfit.
Oh, there's another house. That's probably hers. Oh, and it's a duck house. That's where she put her parents to live. No, he doesn't think that's funny either.
She's resigned.
She's resigned. She's gone. She said it was because she'd brought in gay marriage and the evil press were out to get her. But, you know, that's unfair, because, yeah, we were. But she did actually threaten the Telegraph when they brought it up. One of her assistants said, my boss is in charge of Leveson and press behaviour. The reason she went is the public are furious. They've had enough of MPs claiming expenses, and it's very damaging for everyone, isn't it, Nigel?
Nigel, what do you think about her resigning?
On the basis she doesn't even know where she lives, I wouldn't have thought she's fit to be in the Cabinet, would you? So I'd say good riddance, frankly. I think it's absolutely disgusting, all these elected politicians using all these expenses to better themselves. It's disgraceful, isn't it, Ian?
It is absolutely disgraceful, Mr Kettle.
So why was Cameron so reluctant to get rid of her?
He didn't want to look weak. He didn't want to lose one of the women in his cabinet. And he doesn't like being told what to do. And he's indecisive. And he's hopeless.
It's not like the real world, is it? She's sort of lost her job, but she's just gone to the back benches. So it's not like... It's like school. She had to stand up and say, sorry for my attitude, and then got told to sit at the back of the class.
She was a woman who went to a comprehensive, so he's done pretty well to communicate with her up till now, let's face it.
And in her resignation, she apologised. She said she was leaving because she'd become a distraction.
Yes.
Which is quite... Cats in tights on the internet are a distraction.
The press kept commissioning opinion polls, all which said she should quit. This is something David Cameron had actually told his MPs to think about when the expenses scandal broke in 2009. Subject yourself to the Daily Mail test. How would this look on the front page of the Daily Mail? Well, David looks a bit like this.
Now, it was an amazing night for Jeremy Corbyn. Alan, you described him as useless, incompetent and incapable.
You're reading things into that, and this is... and it's... typical of the mainstream media attacking. So Hislop and his establishment paper, Public Eye, whatever it is.
Yes.
And you just make up these
Can I just say at this point, I'd like to congratulate Jeremy on a very, very good campaign. I'm not serious. He was terrible, but he wasn't as terrible as her. That's all that matters. You start from a really low bar. A huge success. He's now as successful as Gordon Brown was when he lost.
Miller's resignation attracted the usual bunch of renter quotes. What we've seen is a Prime Minister who clearly is totally disconnected with how the voters in Britain feel about MPs' expenses. That was Nigel Farage. The same Nigel Farage who in 2009 revealed that as an MEP he'd claimed in expenses £2 million of taxpayers' money.
And who was it? Who was it that brought up the issue of £2 million and me and taxpayers' money? Dennis McShane.
Yeah, he's in jail, but you're not.
Yes, I had noticed that.
Good.
Yes, well, as a tax-funded MEP, Nigel Farage is an equal opportunities employer. Some of our money has gone to his wife and some to his mistress. Or have I got that wrong?
I think that is allegedly, don't you? I think that is allegedly.
We can set the record straight now.
Yeah, I think it is. I think you ought to say allegedly, quite honestly.
Can I say, as a member of the press, I think, you know, actors really are in need of a royal charter. I mean, that sort of allegation is pretty distressing. What, is it true?
No, afraid not.
Not true at all?
Not true at all.
Any of the good bits?
There are good bits.
I'll tell you afterwards.
Right.
Well, let's have a look, shall we, at some of those revelations. Here is Nikki Sinclair, a former UKIP MEP, now representing the We Demand a Referendum party in the European Parliament. Take a close look at the reaction of the translator in the bottom left corner of the screen.
Does Mr Farage think it's a fair use of taxpayers' money, namely his secretarial allowance, not only to employ his wife Kirsten, but his former mistress Annabel Fuller? Is this a responsible use of taxpayers' money, Mr Farage?
I would just say this to you, Chairman. This is somebody who hid under the cloak of parliamentary privilege to make those comments, and when asked to repeat them publicly, refused to do so.
Quite funny, though.
David Cameron was very rude about your people, wasn't he, Nigel?
Oh, he always is.
Yes, he said...
He can't help himself.
He can't help himself. He said they were all fruitcakes and loonies.
And loonies, and worse. He said worse than that.
He did, right.
Extremists.
Extremists?
Yeah.
Shocking.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's time... I think it's time for a game of fruitcake or loony. OK, everyone, fingers on your buzzers. I'll show you some UKIP party members. You have to buzz in and tell me whether they're a fruitcake or a loony. Here's the first one.
I don't know who he is.
Ian.
I'm just guessing.
Yeah.
Fruitcake.
I'm afraid that's the wrong answer. He's a loony. He's a would-be UKIP councillor and loony John Sullivan who wrote, "Regular physical exercise releases boys' tensions and thus avoided homosexuality." Which is quite right, Mr Sullivan, and that's why you'll never see a gay man down the gym. Fingers on buzzers, here's your next one. Nigel Farage, UKIP party.
This is a bit tricky, this one, because he's the treasurer and one of our biggest donors. And I wouldn't really like to call Stuart Wheeler either. I'll have to go for fruitcake.
Is the correct answer. You got it right. Yes. This is UKIP party treasurer Stuart Wheeler and Fruitcake, who said that women had no place in the boardroom and couldn't compete with men at sports, even when they're not physically disadvantaged. He said, chess, bridge, poker, women come absolutely nowhere. I think that just has to be borne in mind. Final go, Fruitcake or loony?
I don't know the chat.
No, anyone?
I'm going to go for loony.
It's the wrong answer. It's actually a trick question. He's not a fruitcake nor a loony. He's a closet racist. At a public meeting about travellers, he said, "The Romanians, they'll stick a knife in you as soon as look at you." His name is Rob Fraser.
Well, thanks for telling me.
Well, there you go. UKIP supporter.
Nice chap, buys his round.
Why shouldn't the government be too worried about UKIP in a general election?
Because if they get the same percentage of the vote, which is 23% of the vote, they won't get any seats at all. So a quarter of the country can vote for you, and you get nothing. Which shows the system's working.
But the good news is
that you're still in.
Is that the BNP would get in if you went for a proportional representation system.
Right. So you're saying better to keep it as it is?
I'm just saying that the British public, I'm putting on my Conservative Party voice now, the British public know what parties to support that will be reasonable and moderate. And that's all I want to say at this time.
The thing that amazes me about MPs is they don't seem to have any idea how embarrassing they are in public. No idea.
And we start with the biggest stories of the week. Ian and Nadine, take a look at this.
They're winning. That's the Penguin. He won. He's Mayor of London. Oh, he hasn't won. He's pondering. Hello! There's the Penguin. Oh, off with the jacket.
Is that the reaffirmation of marriage vows?
It is.
Who was the bride?
Nick.
Oh. Well, we know what happens to the bride on her wedding night, don't we?
No, this is the elections, and it didn't go very well for the coalition. And the reason it didn't go very well is because Nadine attacked the Prime Minister.
Nothing to do with the Lords reform being one of our main policies when the country's in recession. Yeah, absolutely, totally my fault, completely down to me.
Excuse me, Miss Nadine, you say that it was your fault, yet your tone does not convince me.
Yeah, you took a drubbing, didn't you, Nadine? Good result for Labour. How many seats did they gain?
740
823. We saw Professor Pongu there in Edinburgh.
He beat the Lib Dem candidate. He did. The Penguin got more votes.
74 more votes than the Lib Dem.
But I think that's because he was wearing black tie. People like posh Nadine. They do, really.
But is there already a whiff of scandal? There is a belief that perhaps there might be a man inside this Penguin.
Meanwhile, Boris Johnson narrowly won a second term in London. How did Boris respond when asked whether he had ambitions to become Prime Minister?
You know.
Well, according to the Daily Mail, he said he didn't want the Prime Minister's job definitively, categorically, emphatically.
That means he does, then.
But would you object to Boris as Tory leader? Because he's quite posh.
I have nothing against where he was educated. It's how one relates to people who, I suppose, aren't posh. And the vast majority of people in the UK don't go to Eton or Oxford and
do they not?
Aren't privileged. You have to be able to relate to the ordinary lives of ordinary people, and Boris does that.
What, you think he's in touch?
I know he's in touch with a lot of the electorate.
That's why he's got a bike.
So here's Boris celebrating his victory. Every inch the statesman. There he is.
Now, that really is enough about the government's bad week. Oh, no, sorry. Andy Coulson. Where did he unexpectedly find himself this week?
In the back of a cop car heading to Scotland.
Because?
Because they want to have a word.
I had absolutely no idea that you were a gangster.
Andy Coulson.
He's been arrested for perjury. Yes. During a trial where someone else was on trial for perjury. Yes. While he was actually working for the Prime Minister, which is pretty shocking. Are you shocked, Alistair?
I'm shocked.
You. I'm glad you're shocked, because, you know, some of the people that this government have been hanging about with... Rebecca Brooks? Know her at all?
I do.
Were you shocked when she was
shocked.
arrested?
I've been shocked by lots of things, Ian.
He's been charged, though, not just arrested.
Yeah.
He's been charged.
He's been charged.
Which is why Ian's being so careful.
Yeah.
About
we got
Andy
to
Coulson, if
tiptoe
not about me.
Well, they haven't charged you yet.
Is it hot in here?
And in case anyone thinks I'm being gratuitous, I know that Alistair is going to be reasonable tonight, because he told Leveson, I am robust, but I'm not a bully. So no matter what anyone says, you're going to be really reasonable.
Tonight? No.
That's good, though, to remember. Like, if your kid gets caught, like, kicking a fat kid, just go, no, he's not a bully, just robust. He's robust.
It probably seemed like a good idea when you said yes.
On the subject of air travel, what did we learn this week about women pilots?
Oh, God. I don't know, I'm just dreading where this is going.
No one knows?
They're better.
Well, a survey found that 51% of passengers wouldn't trust a woman pilot. The survey was commissioned by a travel agent who surveyed 49 normal people, then repeatedly asked Godfrey until they got to... I'm doing you a terrible disservice. I feel sure you are far more enlightened than that.
I know you've said that women aren't very good drivers, but they're much better than men at finding the mustard in the pantry. And I wondered, was that a euphemism? Like, have you often found yourself, you know, with women and you feel like you've been rummaging for ages in the pantry and... You know, she's screaming, you just can't find the mustard. Is that... where that came from?
I tell you, are we talking French or English?
Time now for the Missing Words Round, which this week features as its guest publication Reg Transfers, the magazine for the world of personal number plates. And we start with Simon Cowell reveals what?
Reveals his number plate.
You probably can't see Simon Cowell's number plate for all the cigarette smoke billowing around his pregnant girlfriend. Did you see? There were pictures of... Did you not see that?
Were people smoking?
There's a picture of him in a car, fagging away, pregnant girlfriend in the passenger seat.
Unbelievable. I thought he was evil before, but...
Simon Cowell reveals his baby name choice is Simon.
Oh.
The baby's due in February. Simon Cowell's already got a high chair, some tiny clothes and a booster seat. All he needs now is to get some stuff for the baby. Next, Cornelius Gurlitt has been hiding what?
Is it complete as it is? Just been hiding.
That's the Nazi art.
Masterpieces, yeah.
I will give you that. Cornelius Gurlitt has been hiding secret Nazi art stash.
Yeah.
All the paintings were confiscated in the early 1940s, or as art historians call it, Hitler's angry period. Next, in Essex, we all have what?
Automatic weapons. An intrinsic knowledge of our local area. Personalised number plates.
Personalised plates.
Yeah.
There we are, yes. In Essex, we all have personal plates. I wanted my initials on my car, but I didn't fancy splashing out in a personalised number plate, so I just bought a second-hand AA van. Brilliant. Next, police dogs will receive what?
I know this.
Go on, then.
Pensions. They're going to get pensions.
Pensions?
Absolutely right.
And rightly so.
Yeah.
Rightly so.
Yeah.
I can't believe nobody said truncheon meat.
Now, they did. That response is the reason why nobody did.
Next, George W. Bush planning what?
A gallery, an exhibition.
Yeah.
He's going to open an exhibition.
Yeah, but that's almost there, yes. He's planning to paint a series of... He's planning to paint a... Oh, Lord.
George W. Bush planning to paint portrait series
of world
leaders. God, we used to accuse him of not being able to read.
Yeah. According to the Telegraph, he is also known to dabble in landscapes, as the people of Iraq know only too well. And finally, David Suchet admits to what when playing Poirot?
Oh, I know that one.
Yeah.
What is it?
Yes, he's got a penny up his arse, hasn't he? So it helps him mince the walk.
Oh, absolutely right, yep. David Suchet admits to clenching a penny between his buttocks when playing Poirot.
Which he learnt from Laurence Olivier.
Yeah.
Who I think had more than pennies up his arse at one stage.
Right down to the line, Godfrey. Sorry.
I know you won't ask me back.
Thank you for watching.